Hello and welcome back to the Minetrek.net game server. I'm currently hovering over the original Enterprise build from 2010, 11, 12, and I've got a interesting proposition for this build. Blue Phobes has obtained authorization to re-release this build to the masses, so it'll probably sometime around the anniversary date, I believe sometime in September, go up for download. And we want to also, we're considering it, I'm looking at the possibility of updating this build to current build standards. So there'll be two versions. There'll be the original Enterprise D, and then you can compare the original Enterprise D to the revised original Enterprise D and see the difference between our build styles from 2010 to say 2020. Problem is, this ship has a lot wrong with it. I mean, it boggles the mind as to the amount of technical issues with this build, and that was one of the reasons why we opted to go and build a whole new Enterprise, because to rebuild this one was at the time not something we could explore effectively. Now, my time on server is been dramatically reduced. That means my free time in life itself, real life, is being consumed up by. It's just being consumed up. So I have less and less time. Literally, I'm down to about an hour and a half a day that I can do PC gaming, and it's usually really early morning or really late evening, and it just depends on what my schedule is that day. Allows for me to get on, and so I'm not active on the Minetrek server right now, and I'm not involved in any builds other than looking at possibly revising and updating this build. And to that extent, I can show you what I'm talking about. You see how this is double beamed right here? You can see it from the bridge. But when you transition down, whoops, I went to the wrong button. When you transition down to here, you can see it's not double beamed. And this is the problem we run into all over the ship, where some sections will be double beamed and other sections won't be. So they'll be single beam. And it throws everything off. So I have to pick a side of the ship and use it. And hopefully it's the side that's, consistently double beamed. But and then mirror to the other side. Now the Enterprise D has many different differences between the port side and the starboard side. So especially around the grotto, the computer core, the center parts of the ship have to be delicately handled. So that is a major undertaking. Plus the ship is full of lava. And the main reason that we forgo this build, and again, let's go into a room here. You have this really narrow room, and here are the windows. Yeah, and there are windows that are literally on the aft end of the ship over Jeffrey's tubes or turbolift shafts. So they're looking down on nothing. And many of the windows bisect rooms and walls, so you got windows right over the top of walls. And for some part, you can see right here is a good example. You know, well, that's actually a couch. That's a bad example. But you come down here and you can start to see what's going on. You can see that things aren't lining up. You got this like inner hall, outer hall, just funkiness going on here, and it's just it was a I you know where do you even begin? Well, you begin by taking it apart deck by deck, clearing out, choosing what you need to save and what needs to go. All these windows, because of their funky angles and stuff, are all going to get filled in and repositioned, i.e., in line, and then reopened. I mean, if this window were like centered, it would go over a corridor and then it would be into a room. And these are according to the I guess the Aztecing tool they used correctly placed, which tells you a lot about how the eye candy for the outside doesn't match up for the space for the interior. And if you look over here, you have the rebuild, the new Enterprise D, cut in half, and you can see from its saucer, and you see how aligned everything is over there, and it looks good. But when you come over here, it's not so good. So yeah, this original D was a fantastic, marvelous build of the time, but you can't fix on the scale that needs to be fixed. So I may have bitten off more than I can chew, but I'm going to do my best. At least try to do something with this ship because it is a beautiful build in and of itself. And if I can get in there and here's another problem. This is the center. If you follow this to the center and then follow it out, it should match to the side of the ship, which means that yeah, it you just I hope it's it's uniform, but I guess the hull was hand built, but from the looks of it, it looks more like it was done with a 3D model, so an imported 3D model. But yeah, we'll see what we can do. I just passed through that, and hopefully we can pull something out of the hat here. Again, my time's limited, so this will be a very long build. It may not be ready for most of it. May not be ready for the release of this ship here itself. But what I do have done, I'm sure will probably be released with it, so players can at least see the difference in build styles through the first couple of decks at least. Anyways, thanks for watching and have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.